You ready?
Yeah, let's do this. Hey everybody, Brie Milani here with Sky Insurance Brokers on another episode of the Greatness Podcast, and I'm so excited. I think I say that every time, but like genuinely so excited to have on somebody I've wanted to come on for quite some time, but she has a pretty busy schedule.
Thank you.
So excited to have on Katie Pastor Trinidad with Partners Mortgage.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We had a few delays, but we made it.
Here we are.
Here we are. So I think I've met you probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I remember meeting you and you being like so delightful. And that doesn't always happen.
Thank
When
you.
you're a marketing rep, it's like you're either going to get the person that's super grumpy, but I remembered you because I was like, she's like just so sweet and genuine. Like it's hard to find in this industry.
Thank you.
So yes, I just want to throw that out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so
sweet.
awesome. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about your personal life before we get into, you know, the mortgage stuff.
Yeah.
But you're married, you have a couple step kids, you have a little baby, grandbaby that just was born.
Yes. Do not call me grandma. Do
I
not
was
call me
wondering.
a word that starts with G, okay? Because it's weird.
Yeah, you're too young. You're far too young to have a
Thank you.
grandbaby.
But yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she's now, she's almost 4 months.
Oh my gosh.
And she's just so fun. She's so delightful. We get to be with her. We get to send her home. We just get all the fun things with her. And we just took her on her little first vacation.
I saw that.
Yeah,
It
it's
looked
been really
amazing.
fun.
And
Thank
what
you.
cool parents to be like, yeah, we're just going to go to Colorado with a new baby.
I mean, brand
Just
new.
go. Yeah,
Brand new.
no
And
big
she
deal.
went everywhere with us. It's like snowing. It's icy. All the conditions that you probably would be a little nervous about bringing a baby out into. Awesome. She was
She was
great.
so good.
Yeah.
That's how you mold a baby in, though. You're like, just come along for the
Yeah.
ride. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah. They've done a great job. We're really proud of them.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so awesome. And
Thank
actually,
you.
a funny backstory. I know one of her stepsons. I've known him forever. And then his wife, I actually have known for even longer.
It's too
So
funny.
it's like such a small world.
Such a small
This
world.
world is too small.
Yeah. Don't burn a bridge.
No,
is what I
do
learned.
not do that. And you're also an auntie. I see all
Yes.
your pictures. And
Yeah.
you have 2 nieces?
So I have 2 nephews who are actually closer in age with me than my sister. And so we've kind of grown up together. Of course, me being older.
That makes sense.
There's about an 8-year age gap, and it's their kids who I'm super
I never
close to.
put the
Yeah.
two together. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
That's
my
so
great nephews and my great niece,
Oh.
and they are just like, besides my husband, besides my family, like they are right there with just being the most precious people in my life.
Oh, I can tell
Yeah.
for sure.
I
and
love
of
them.
course, we talk about your husband. I kind of skipped over him. Sorry, Dan. We just went right to the grandbaby and kids. And you guys, so now your backstory is that you guys met
Yeah.
before you were ever in the industry, correct?
So I was in the industry, and this will kind of lead us into, professionally where I've been and how I got here. So I've been in the industry. I've been in finance my entire career. And at the time when I met my husband, Dan, I was working for a large bank. I won't name any names. And I was really unhappy being there because it was just a different, it was right after the housing market had crashed. So it was 2008, 2009. And it was hard. It was really hard work. I was doing a lot of refi business.
So you were doing loans.
I was doing loans.
I didn't think I knew
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Wow.
prior to that, I was in finance, and I was doing more financial planning.
I think I
and
remember you telling me that. Okay.
yeah. So I was doing that. And then I went into the home loan division. And then it was hard.
Yeah.
People were losing homes, and we were trying to help as many people as we could. And it's working for a big company like that. There's a lot that's out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't do any purchase business because we had a really hard time closing on time. And I didn't want to put my reputation out there and be that person who couldn't be their word,
Yeah, you couldn't
right?
perform. It's nothing you
couldn't
can
perform.
do. It's just the company that you're with doesn't do that.
Yeah. And I really wanted to help people that were buying homes because it's so rewarding to see somebody buy their last home, buy their first home. So I wanted to be a part of that. So at the time, we both have a mutual friend in the industry.
Yes, she tells me all the time. I introduce them.
I love her. So she works for a title company, and she had kind of set us up on a date. And I was thinking it was a job interview because she knew I was unhappy with my previous company. And she had said, I don't want you to work for any other company. I highly recommend Dan Trinidad and Partners Mortgage. And so it's so funny. So I went to this meeting thinking that it was a job interview, and I had like my sales reports in my handbags, and he shows up and he's thinking he's going on a blind date.
Stop it.
And so he's asking me all these personal questions, like, do you like to ski? And I was like, huh, I like this guy. Like, he's really interested in me as a person. Well, he was, apparently.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So afterwards, I text my girlfriend, our friend, and I said, okay, well, that's kind of awkward because I really like him, but I kind of like have a crush on him. So there's no way I could ever work for him. And she's like, perfect, great. He was looking to find somebody. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's how we met. And it was about 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So did you come work here?
Not right away.
Not right away.
No. So
smart to keep it, keep it separate.
Yeah. I did not want to be that girl, that girl.
Yeah.
So I stayed with my previous company for about a year and a half. And then I made the transition over to Partners. And really looking back on it, obviously it's been so great for so many reasons. Right. My personal life and, doing this with my husband. A lot of people say, how do you work with your spouse? And the dynamics are perfect. Yeah. I'm in the trenches. He oversees the company. Right. And so we're doing different things, and we both have so much respect for each other, and we, have different roles. So I think that's what's really helpful. But professionally, it's everything that I would ever want it to be. Mm-hmm. I can help people that are buying houses. I can just really give that education and that advice to people. And I think this is one thing that you wanted to talk about. Why did I choose this career? Like, why did I choose really Partners? Because my career has always been finance. Right. And part of the reason is because I knew that I wanted to help people that were buying houses. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget, before I met Dan, I went through the home buying process by myself.
Oh, gosh.
And holy cow, like even being in finance and having a general idea of like what the process looked like, mm-hmm. I just knew there was a better way. Nobody held my hand. Nobody educated me. It was on my own.
Swim, yeah.
Yeah. And it was like all of a sudden I'm writing a check for a big amount of money, and I didn't know what was really happening. Mm-hmm. I knew I was getting keys, right? And that's exciting. But there's so much that happens, from the beginning until the end. So with that, having that personal experience and just kind of hearing what other people's perception was of mm-hmm. the home buying process, I decided I'm out and I'm going to show people that there's a better way.
And you have done that.
Oh, thank you.
It's so impressive. It really is. And it's very rare that people really do what you do. And I know that sounds cliche, and
thank you.
It's so true though. I mean, I work with quite a few loan officers and real estate agents for that matter. And I mean, there are amazing loan officers out there, but to really embrace what you have done and really form a team. Like you guys have a team that's like no other.
Thank you.
And there's like no breaking it. It's absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
Thank you.
And it's awesome because, like you said, and I know a lot of agents you work with, and one specifically that comes to mind who you guys have just really dominated this area in Placer County and outside of Placer County, but primarily in this mm-hmm. area. And it's so cool to see. When I look on, there's like a mom's page on
mm-hmm.
Roseville, mm-hmm. mom's page. And when people ask, I need a lender or a real estate agent, I really have chills.
Aww.
It's you and Jamie. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like you don't see, and you guys have been a team for so long. Mm-hmm. And I know you work with more than just Jamie's team, but that mm-hmm. just sticks out in my mind because it's so unique and amazing to see.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. And I know you guys like kind of have a funny story. Didn't you guys like do your first transactions mm-hmm. together?
Yes. Yeah. So she was selling so it was her grandmother's home. Her grandmother had recently passed, and I was looking to buy an investment property. And being in this industry and needing somebody in this industry you're in a really tough spot, right? Because you don't want to hurt feelings. You've got relationships that are on the line. So sometimes it's very hard to choose who's going to get your business, right? You want to give your business to everybody, right? But unfortunately you can't. So anyway, I found this house and I was looking online, right? And this house pops up and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to use this person and I don't want to use this person. How do I choose? okay, I'm not going to choose, and I'm just going to go directly to the listing agent. And she happened to be the listing agent on that house.
Yeah. I don't think I knew that full story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So she was a listing agent. I reached out to her. Of course, we hit it off right away. Initially, I didn't see the house, and I was making a strong offer. And my sister and my brother-in-law went to see the house, and I'll never forget. She's like, I don't know these people. Is somebody going to show up? Are they going to kill me? Like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. That's her perspective on this. And I'm, excited about this opportunity, and I want to make this happen. So anyway, fast forward, we closed that transaction. We totally hit it off. I fell in love with her right away. And seeing how she worked drew me to her. Yeah. Right? She's got integrity. She's got goals. She's very driven. It has the biggest heart out of anybody I know. And after seeing that, I knew that that's who I want to do business with, right? We had so many similarities in who we are as people and how we treat people, why we're doing this, right? Her why is the same reason. There's a better way to help somebody with their biggest financial decision, right? So she aligned with that, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why we've worked so well together. And from the very beginning, we've been on a mission to say, this is a stressful time for a lot of people. It certainly doesn't just have to be about that stress. It can be all about the excitement and the celebration too. So that's what we really strive for, is how do we celebrate this with people? Because it's a huge accomplishment, whether you're doing it on your own, you're doing it with your husband, whatever it is, it's a big accomplishment to be able to achieve that American dream.
Oh yeah. And you guys, I'll never forget, I came into your office. This was probably, I don't know, 3 years ago. And there was like baskets, big celebration, welcome home baskets. I was like, I want one. What are those? And it's like just going outside the box, making it that much more special for somebody is so huge. And I know, everybody knows, well, in my opinion, you and Jamie is like a pair, but obviously you work with so many amazing agents. I mean, I know a lot of people who are on Jamie's team as well that you work with, but you've really done a great job of making those relationships and making a great name for yourself, which is incredible. Thank you. Now, obviously there's no like secret, right? It's like, it just seems like you just treat people with respect. You do a good job for them.
You work hard.
And you work hard, and it comes to you. And that's really the secret that nobody realizes. Everybody tries the whole like online, try to do a quick sell type of thing. And it's like, really, it's this. It's that face-to-face, sitting down, talking with somebody, getting to know them, getting to know what their goals are. And that's how you get to where, from an outsider looking in, it seems to be where you guys have gotten to where you are.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Yeah. You always, I hate to say this about our industry, but I think our industry kind of has this reputation. Sometimes people get treated like a transaction, right? Us, meaning loan officers, I think are probably, people perceive us as we're transactional, loan officers. And I never wanted to be that. There's somebody on the other side of that. And there's a story on the other side of this transaction, right? You're buying this house because you just lost your spouse. You're buying this house because you're about to have a baby and it's the most exciting time of your life. And you want to bring that baby home to this new house, right? So it's really connecting with the people. That's where I find that's the why, right? It's working with you and your family and knowing who you are and like being a part of this journey and being a part of your life. That's what gives me the goosebumps. That's why I get out of bed every day and I work my butt off. So
like some of those days may be super stressful, super hard, but then you see that like at the end of the tunnel, it's like, oh my gosh, it's all worth it. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah, and you also have, outside of like, you have an amazing escrow team I know you work with. You have great real estate agents you work with.
Insurance?
You also have insurance, which we love working with you guys. But you have a great team supporting you as well with Kendra and Christy.
So lucky.
I mean, and Kendra, you guys have been together for quite a few years now,
she
right?
better not go anywhere ever. Ever.
I don't see that ever happening. And it's pretty crazy because when Christy came on board, I was like, oh yeah, let's see how, and it's like, boom, she was kind of slipped right in. Did perfect fit. And I'm like, that doesn't happen very often. Usually there's a few people to get that perfect fit. Because Kendra was kind of doing some of her job there for a little bit.
Yeah. So Christy, oh, bless her little soul. So she came on board when it was real crazy.
She was new, right?
She was brand new.
Never been in the industry.
Fresh.
Like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. She was fresh into this whole chaotic little world that she stepped into because when she joined, interest rates were at all-time lows, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's so cliche because every lender says, oh, interest rates are all-time lows. Sometimes we're lying. Anyway.
You're like, no, like really like 1%. No.
They're not anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, she came in and the poor girl was like, oh, what's happening? And we've got, all sorts of files, people wanting to refinance and save money, people that are buying houses, and just a lot going on. And she stepped in, she pulled up those bootstraps, and she like went to work, and she's just done a really amazing job. And I'm so thankful to have her. She was actually hired to be our receptionist, our office receptionist.
Oh my gosh, you're like, no.
And I said, nope, no, there's no time for that receptionist. And it was actually good timing because then COVID had hit. Right. And so our office was shut down anyway.
Yeah.
So I saw the potential that she had. More importantly, I didn't care that she was like not from being in the business or in the industry. Mm-hmm. She had the heart. She had the personality.
For sure.
Yes. I mean, she is a yes person, and that's a big thing on my team. How do we find a way to say yes? Mm-hmm. We don't ever want to say no, right? And remembering that these are people that we're working with. These aren't W-2s and pay stubs and everything else. These are people behind this. And I saw that from the very beginning. So I'm so blessed to have her. And Kendra, she's like my right hand. She's like amazing. My sister. I love her to death. And I certainly wouldn't be where I am today without either one of them.
Oh, that's so sweet. And it's, again, so hard to find. You talk to loan officers that want to go to the next level. How do you go to the next level? Well, you can't unless you have people behind you. And it's a revolving door of people because this industry's tough. I mean, it can chew you up and spit you out. I know there's been a few times in my career over the last 9 years where I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. But then, you become grounded and you're like, okay, why do I do this? Okay, now reset. But this industry is not easy. So what you guys have achieved is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And now let's talk a little bit about, you said it, so I'm going to bring it up, rates.
Oh yeah.
Which
my favorite topic.
I know. It's so hard because you're right. I think for the last, I would say as a consumer, 2 years, people have said rates cannot get any lower, and then they go lower, and then they can't get any lower, and then they go lower, and you're like, well, what is it? So obviously you don't have to quote rates, but like what are you seeing rates doing in the next 6 months? And that goes along with the market. Like what are you seeing right now? I know Kendra and I were talking a little bit before we got on, and we're like, December, January do tend to be kind of slower. And this year for me, it has kind of ring true. But there have been months, December and January, were my craziest months. But this month, I'm like, it is kind of slow. Like, what's good? But not bad. It's kind of a little break. But
it's been nice.
Interested to hear kind of what your perspective is over the next 6 months or so.
So certainly what we've seen so far with interest rates just this year, and, when at the time of recording this, we're still in January, and what we've seen is interest rates have come up. It's happening a little bit sooner than what we were expecting. When I say come up, they're still very good, right? So we're anticipating interest rates to be in the low 4s, excuse me, probably through the year. If that happens, home ownership can still be very affordable, right? Even though we talk about interest rates being so low, and again, we say interest rates are the lowest they've ever been, and they were for a very long time. Interest rates are still low, especially considering the average interest rate of a home loan is 8.5% over the last 40 years. If we're talking about an interest rate below 5, below 6, still very good, right? Where the challenge comes in the market that we're in right now, is when homes are still very expensive, right? So when we're seeing prices continue to go up, interest rates going up, that's going to impact people financially, obviously.
They couldn't afford it.
Right. So I think we're going to see, and we're starting to see prices level out a little bit. I say starting with some hesitation because I've got a client right now, list price is $570,000. He has to offer $598,000 to get the house. So again, we're still in that situation of having to go over asking price.
But at least it's not like $100,000 over asking.
Really.
I was on the phone with an agent that we both know, and she told me that a house that her client put an offer in just over the weekend, I want to say, had 16 offers. And I'm like, so are we still there? What are we doing?
We're still doing this. Crazy. Even with interest rates going up. Now, I do think that that's going to slow down a little bit. Because again, when interest rates go up, it becomes a little less affordable for people, right? Or they may not be able to go to that $600 purchase price, or excuse me, $600,000. They might have to go to $575.
Right.
So it will impact people financially. Most importantly, regardless of interest rates, people are buying and selling, right? There's always going to be houses for people to buy. People are going to need to sell. So, and I always tell people this, I probably get this question from every single home buyer, is now a good time to buy? And my answer is the same for the last 7 years. Yeah. Yes, for you financially, if it works, yes, it's time to buy, right? If these numbers don't work for you based off of higher interest rates today, maybe you want to sit on the sidelines and see what happens. Yeah. Or see what happens for you financially to where you can get to a point where you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, see what happens with your job or whatnot. And it's true because, I mean, as a consumer, you look at a loan and you have, let's say, a 2.5% interest rate on it. My thought would be, why would we move? Because we've got this such a low interest rate, but really 2.5% to 4%. While it seems like a lot, isn't that huge, increase. But it's definitely interesting. That was just a year and a half ago that rates were that low. Maybe even not that long ago, but it's crazy to see even that little uptick throws people in a frenzy. Oh my gosh, the market is crashing. People that aren't in our industry, I actually had somebody post that on Facebook. I'm waiting to buy for the market to crash. And a gal that I actually know, we know mutually, had said, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Because I don't think that's going to, this is probably, 6 months to a year ago.
And now she's kicking herself.
Yeah, because everybody
market hasn't crashed.
Yeah, our equity continues to keep going up. So it's just interesting. I get it though, as a buyer, the hesitation is now a good time. Is now the right time? Are rates going to go down? Are the prices of homes going to go down? I mean,
and really at the end of the day, and I tell my clients this as well, what are your plans for this home? Are you going to hold it for 2 years? Maybe now you want to wait out to see what happens over the next 2 years or at least the next 12 months, right? But most of the time people are wanting to buy something for the next 5 to 7 years. And at that point, who knows where the market's going to be? And that's when it matters, is when you go to sell that house, that's when we want to know, what's the market doing?
Which, I mean, back in 2008, 9, 10, what happened was something that we've never really had seen before. So we just hope it doesn't happen again. And those, crazy equity we have doesn't just go plummeting down literally overnight. And I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I hope not. I don't have a magic 8 ball, but
being in finance, my whole career, I was around during those days when we were doing stated income loans, right? I make X amount.
Come back. I'm like, oh no.
Not necessarily, not to the degree that we were doing them before. By the way, for the record, I wasn't doing them because I worked for a conservative lender and I didn't like them anyway.
Wasn't me.
But there were those loans, right? There were interest-only loans. There were some loan products that people were abusing. I guess that's the best way to put it. And we don't see those. We haven't seen those over the last several years. Now, are there some creative financing strategies for people who maybe don't show all their income, that are self-employed? Absolutely, there's other ways to qualify. But there's still restrictions that are put into place. So I don't think we'll ever see a crash like we saw before. What's driving interest rates up right now, which I think in a way we're all talking about inflation, but that's certainly a contributing factor. Everything's more expensive today than it was 6 months ago, right? And that's what is having an impact on, that's one of the things that's having an impact on these interest rates. So, life gets pricey.
Oh, it does. Nick, my husband and I have had this conversation. There was this gal it was like a video she did on TikTok. Move over the price. You go to Target, they have their little price stickers. You move it over and you see what the price was before. And she was like a mom, so it was all these like baby stuff. Everything was $3 or $4 more.
No kidding.
I'm like, seriously, I used to be able to grocery shop for $120 a week. $200. Easy. I mean, that's like without trying.
And gas. Don't even look at the gas tank.
Gosh, everything. And what do you do? You just roll with it. But it is
you
true.
make it work.
You make it work. That's what Nick and I have always said. We always have made it work. Some way or another. I remember when we built our second house actually. When we built it 7 months before we moved in, we locked in. Interest rates were, this is probably 4 years ago, they were at 3.5%. In that 7 months, it went up to 4.5%. So our payment went up like $500. And I'm thinking, how are we going to do it? you make it work.
Yeah.
So we did it somehow,
Yeah.
some way. It's worked itself out. So it's so true. It's you figure it out for sure. So now we can kind of wrap it up, but one thing I wanted to ask you, which, because I mean, you're a veteran in the industry now, I would say you've earned your stripes.
Oh boy. I don't know how that feels.
How many years? 9, 10? No, 12?
I've been focusing on purchase business for 7 years.
7 years.
Yes, and in the industry for a lot longer. So you can call me old. It's fine.
No, well, I've been in it for 9 years, so I mean.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I started when I
wow.
was 21.
Oh,
I'm going to be 30.
My
this year.
gosh!
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, but when you love it,
oh,
yeah.
I wake up every day and I'm like, oh, going to work.
Yeah.
It's not like a feeling. I mean, I've had those days before.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
So what's something you would tell yourself that you would have done differently, or like a word of advice, like if you were starting, or a new person starting out? You've worked with a lot of new loan officers here. What's like a word of advice you always tell people?
Yeah, that's such a great question. There's so much advice that I give to newer loan officers, and even that I would tell my old self. I've always operated from, again, and I've said this multiple times in this interview, I've always operated from a place of, these are people, right? And we have to remember, we're not doing loans, we're building relationships, right? And we're serving the need of somebody. And when you can have that mindset, it doesn't matter what you get paid. It doesn't matter. I'll never forget this. When I first started doing purchase business here at Partners Mortgage, I had a colleague tell me, there were actually 2, and they were top producing loan officers at the time. And they told me they don't do down payment assistance loans. And so I started asking questions, because I love to ask questions. And both of them, their response was because we don't get paid as much as we do on other loans that don't require down payment assistance. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I thought, that's what I'm doing. Those are the loans that I'm doing. Those are the people that I'm serving, because there's a huge need for that. And I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the people. And if I can help facilitate a first-time home buyer getting their first home, they're never going to forget me.
No, and they'll always be so appreciative of what you did for them.
Helping them, right? Letting them know that these programs even exist. So that's what I tell new loan officers. First, find a niche product. Hopefully it's down payment assistance and helping first-time home buyers, but find the people that you want to help, who speaks to your heart. Maybe it's veterans, and you go after them, and you never forget why you're doing this. You're not doing this for a paycheck. No. That paycheck will come. Yeah. So that's my first piece of advice. And my second is, you don't have to do business with everybody. You're not going to align with everybody. And I learned this the hard way. I would say yes to a lot of people, and I've learned that there are some people that I just don't match well with.
Amen to
if
that.
You're in this for the wrong reason, if you're in this because you might have an ego that you need to fulfill, I'm not interested.
Not the right person to work
I'm not
with.
the right person. And there's plenty of other people that will work with them, and you're better aligned with somebody else, and I respect that. Nothing against you. It's just not how I want to spend my time. It's not who I want to spend my time with.
Yeah, that's like, there's like a saying, like, you spend the time with the people that you want to be like, and that's not it.
Yes, you got it.
That's so important, and I love that. And I'm gonna guess that those 2 top producers don't work here anymore.
Nope.
Heck yeah. I knew it. I don't even know who they are, but I just knew that you're like, nope, that's not going to work.
No.
I love that. Well, you're amazing. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I know you do a lot of social media. What's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you?
Follow me on Instagram. That's probably best. And
what's your handle?
Yeah.
I don't think I know it off the top of my head.
K Pastor Trinidad. I
there you
think.
go.
I don't even know.
I actually probably could have guessed that.
Yeah.
Well,
but thanks for having me.
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thanks for being a great business partner, too.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you guys. And thanks to everybody who's listening.
Thank you.